Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And
Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show live page on Facebook and YouTube. It is a beautiful Monday morning, and we are live and local, also simulcasting on at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. Give us a like, give us a follow, share us with your family and friends, and tell them that they can join in on the conversation right here. Give us their thoughts, their opinions, their ideas. Be the coach for a day, review the week, give me good, bad, ugly, all of that and more right here on the Martin Houston Show. They can do that by giving us their thoughts on the social media outlets, chats, option, as well as calling 205-342-9904. 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. Taco Casa, quality, taste, value under the biggest cactus in town. Great option for lunch and or dinner. Go check them out. Tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. And the hotline is open for business. Let the count up, not down. The count up begins. CJ Watson saying Roll Tide 5,483 days and counting since the last time Tennessee beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. Hey, remember this, that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Go out and make a difference. Want to encourage you, hey, we're giving grades. We're looking for good, bad, ugly. It's a bye week, so there's plenty of chance for us to dig in and dig deep and find out, where we think this team needs to go. I got several things that I want to bring up. We'll, like I said, get to the good, bad, and ugly. So I want to invite you to get in on that conversation, talk about some things we saw in this past week's game, some things you'd like to see. If you were the coach, what would you be working on during bye week? What are the things that you would want to correct, improve, get rid of, change, do less of during bye week preparation and growth? So other than just allowing the team to rest. So give us a call and let us know what that may be. CJ Watson saying just a couple more fun facts relevant to Alabama football. The last time Tennessee beat Alabama in football, retired NFL players Chance Womack and DJ Fluker had to get their parents to drive them places because they weren't old enough to have driver's license. Just one more last time thought from CJ Watson for the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right, here's some things that We can talk about the use of tight ends in this past weekend's game. The Tennessee hurry up, no huddle, NASCAR. Was that as fast as you've seen anybody go, especially with the style of offensive play that the Tennessee Vols have? Not just a passing team, but also a running team. They were fast. I just, when I was making my notes, I put NASCAR fast. Our DBs and our techniques, several times the guys seem to be running and not making a play on the ball. Short passing game was something that I thought was an interesting add-in for this week's game against Tennessee. How effective do you think it was? Read progression by Bryce Young getting better. Is it getting better? Worse? Is he sometimes taking too long? I mean, just whatever you think. Another sidebar that many of us probably don't notice as fans, but being in the stadium, I noticed it even more than I have on television. Slade Bolden must be the conditioning Iron Man. That dude runs so much of Alabama's motion, which is key to the impact of the play calling and helps to give Bryce so much pre-snap information. And Slate Bolden does an absolutely unbelievable job with that. Part of that may be the reason why he plays so much. And he also did a good job catching the ball. What are your thoughts on roughing the punter? Tennessee faking injuries. Alabama losing their focus. What about our short yardage defense? What grade would you give them? Trayshawn Holden and his impact this past week in working himself more and more into the offense. And then, of course, just Bryce Young in general, the defense in general, Bryce Young running the ball, all of those things. I mean, you kind of can help me get things going this morning because there's so much to talk about um, in terms of this team. But let's start off with a couple of the good, bad, and ugly. But before we do that, good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great today, Martin. I had a lot of fun in the stadium on Saturday and went to a basketball game on Sunday, so it was great Alabama weekend.
Yeah. Hey, did you get to go to the tip off or anything for basketball?
Yeah, I was there on Friday night for Tide tip off, and then I was there on Sunday to watch Alabama take on Louisiana. So it was a basketball football filled weekend.
Before we get into the football, real quick, what did you kind of see? What was your takeaway? I heard it was exciting on Friday, but Friday
Well,
night.
Friday was just a kind of a show,
Yeah.
more of a pep rally than anything
Yeah.
else. But it was fun. It was well handled. Sunday, the man Martin, the team played really sloppy out of the gate. They shot the ball terribly. What they shot 6 for 30, I think, from 3-point land on Sunday. But Javon Quinterly and Juwan Gary were suspended for team violation of team rules. They're going to be back for the first game, so they were missing. But J.D. Davison looked incredible, very, very athletic, getting into the paint at will. And the Tide ended up making a little comeback in the second half and beating Louisiana by 6 or so. And so it was fun. It was good to see the team dig back into the game and win a game despite poor shooting.
All right. Well, let's get back into that. That sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm sure as we move forward, we'll get more and more into it. I talked to a couple of people that went and said it was just a fun atmosphere and a lot of excitement around Alabama basketball. And when you get excitement around Alabama basketball in the midst of Tennessee and Alabama football, that's a good thing for the basketball program. Let's get to the phone lines. We have Curtis Lewis, who is in. Curtis, you're on the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Martin. Hey, on the good, bad, and ugly. I had two on the good.
Okay.
I kind of split the two between Bryce Young, his overall game,
and getting Trayshawn Holden in there. I'm glad to see he's getting more reps. He's going to be an excellent receiver for us. On the bad, I had Bryce Young having to run because obviously he's not running because it's a design play. He's running because the protection is breaking down, and he's pretty much running for his life. So anytime that he's back there, even when he's completing the pass or the bad ball is out of his hands, he is still getting hit.
Yeah. So, hey, Curtis, let me tell you something. I didn't notice. I noticed this more in person than I had at home. Bryce doesn't always take that first receiver though. Do what now?
Yeah, I saw that too.
It was a couple times he got hit or had to scramble late because he didn't take his hot read or he didn't take that first open receiver. And it looks like, but the guy has the. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback who stands and just waits like from being there. It was like they're coming, Bryce, and my wife a couple times even said like because she thought he was gonna get hit. Last minute he takes off. So I will say that there was some pressure issues, and I would also say that he is committed to his progression. If he thinks that third or fourth receiver is gonna come open late, he will not. He'll take a chance, and he did it several times. And we probably would not have noticed it as much if those guys hadn't dropped those balls late. That makes sense. Yeah. But I agree. Our offensive line, I was kind of a mixed emotion. It was like, yeah, they got to protect better, but Bryce also, like I said, I know being there was a couple times he could have hit the receiver right out of the bat quicker. But go ahead. I want to let you get back to it. You said I agree with those two. Good. What else you got?
Well, of course, the ugly was special teams. I mean, our special teams, I've never seen our special teams that horrible in one game. I mean, that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You almost kill the opposing kicker when you get your kicker killed.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what was going on with that.
Yeah. And then, of course, I had said 55 points, and I told somebody, I said, you have to give me the 55. You have to give me the 55, man. I mean, who's expecting what's the name to miss a field goal? No, I'm just kidding. But he missed that. But anyway, you're right on those two punts on one on each side. They were very interesting. Go ahead.
And one of the times that Bryce Young did not take that first read, and I thought it was very telling, is when he threw the ball. He had just made a pass to what's the tight end, Billingsley.
Mm-hmm.
And Billingsley got alligator arms on him.
Yep.
And he go for that ball. For the very next play, Billingsley was wide open, and he went right past him.
Yes, he did.
He that ball that way.
Yes, he did. So
some of that stuff seems to be because he don't think the receiver's going to catch the ball. He doesn't have that faith in the receivers at that point. But I noticed that on a lot of our play calling, even on our running plays specifically, we're not running off tackle at all. I mean, we're doing just straight down into the A gap, and almost that's our bread and butter run play to do a straight down to the A gap as if we're an option team. But why are we not running off tackle?
I don't know, Curtis. And if you go back and look, B-Rob has developed something that helps us more than our play calling is helping us. He has developed and he executed it probably about 6 or 7 times to get an additional, yardage, and that's that little hop step. He did that numerous times. I'm like, why do we keep running it in there? But what's interesting is when Roydell comes in, we run a little bit more off the edge with him, but he's only in, 5 or 6 plays. So I don't know. But if you watch us, B-Rob hardly ever gets anything on the edge. Yes.
No. And Trey Sanders, when he finally gets in there to help wipe down the scoreboard and clean off the bench, he has good action back there, but Trey Sanders got to get more touches with that thing when the game is still not put away. But he could give us a lot of that off the end, and he gives us that ability to to break one.
Yeah, and
solid as he is, he doesn't give us that breakaway ability.
and some I'm gonna have to let you run, but I don't know what it is. I can't figure it out. There has to be something with Trey, or it's a philosophy of Gillespie. I mean, the running back coach, that he's only going to play two guys. That may be it. Trey just is the third guy, and the third guy doesn't play unless it's cleanup duty. That's the only thing that makes sense when you see what he does when he gets in. Hey, thanks, Curtis. Appreciate you, man. All right.
Appreciate it, Mark.
Appreciate it. Man, this segment got a little long on me. I apologize for that. Robert Ellis, please hold on. I'll get you as soon as we come back from the break. You're listening to the Martin Houston Show. We're taking your good, your bad, your ugly, or any other comments you may have observed during Alabama's takedown of the Tennessee Volunteers. Was it closer than the score appeared? Did they do enough to make them feel better about next year? All of that and more. We'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Rate, and they really need your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21.
Man the Movement here, inviting you to shop the great selection of Carhartt products at both locations of Irving's. We have many styles of Carhartt logo tees, as well as some new colors in both Carhartt loose fit, heavyweight pocket tees, and the ever popular Force Relax Fit midweight tees in both long and short sleeves. Irving's also has a nice selection of Carhartt hoodies for both men and women. While shopping at Irving's, don't forget to check out all the new Carhartt caps and beanies in great new colors that you sure love. So, Carhartt. Tell them Van the Boot Institute.
Cash call mortgage. New York, offer based on loans over $250,000. 5 restrictions.
What's better than a mortgage interest rate and APR in the twos? How about a cash out refi with an interest rate and APR in the twos? At Cash Call Mortgage, our customers are getting the cash they need from their home's equity and getting a low interest rate and APR in the twos. Imagine refinancing your mortgage to a rate and APR in the twos and taking cash out for the things in life you need. At Cash Call Mortgage, we'll even pay the title, escrow, and appraisal fees. Home values have soared and interest rates are at all-time lows, but the clock is ticking on how long these rates and APRs will stay this low. Imagine a mortgage rate in the twos and some extra cash in your pocket. For a free quote to see if you qualify, go to cashcallmortgage.com or call us today. Call 800-745-1952. That's 800-745-1952. 800-745-1952.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sky cloudy at times today, a chance of scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm in spots, the high 79. For tonight, becoming mostly fair, the low at 49. And a beautiful day tomorrow, sunshine in full supply, the high and 70 degrees. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 63 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith at Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Man, it's a lot going on this morning. Glad to get you all in. Let me work it in real quick. Bryce is growing for sure. Love seeing him pull it and run more. Sometimes I feel like he's throwing off balance causing some misses in the passing, but all in all, doing much better. He needs his receivers to catch those that hit them in the hands. Bryce is still holding the ball too long in the pocket. He needs to throw it away. That's from Virgil Williams. Agree with different pieces of that. Have a slightly different perspective on others, but definitely, like I said, I think he's holding the ball, which is good and bad because he's going through his progression, which sometimes is putting more more pressure on him, and then part of his game is he throws off balance. That's just kind of who he is, which is kind of weird. In terms of a lot of that Aaron Rodgers type play is what you see there. But I think he was 30 for 42, and if you think about it, Joe, if the receivers catch the ball, he would have been what, 35 for 42, something like that. 36 for 42, somewhere in that range. He probably had 4 or 5.
For this past week, but obviously the first one with Jamison Williams, and there's a couple over the course of the game.
Yeah,
that could have gone Bryce's way.
Yeah, he probably had, I would say, 4 or 5 drops. So, and if you end up a game, you're going to have some bad throws and different things like that. So I'm not as worried about those overthrows as I am about, whether or not he takes the open receivers, which of course allows him to, or at least to him taking some potential more hits. I'm more worried about that, Joe, than I am the overthrow side of things. But but yeah, definitely some things he can work on to get better. The biggest thing is the dude, when he runs, he showed you what he has, Joe. Anybody question whether this guy has the potential to be the most talented quarterback to ever play at Alabama, Nick Saban or any other era? He took a step forward to make that case again this past weekend. When he adds running, he is nasty. He even more impressed me with his running than what I thought he could do. So we'll talk about that if you want to talk about it. Robert, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, Bryce definitely shows that he can break a few ankles.
Yes, he can.
So he can run. So like some little guys are like, oh goodness gracious, don't hurt my now, Bryce.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Your analysis about the first read, yeah, a couple of times, he had a couple of guys open in the flat early. That throwing the ball, they can at least get you probably 5 yards before the defense can catch up with them with a good move, maybe get you more. And he started and went looked for something deeper.
Yeah.
I thought times in the flat where Mac Jones was definitely gone to those guys first. Tua would probably done the same thing right there, see if we got something deep.
Yeah.
Now, playing Georgia, take that first read.
Yeah, and the question, Robert, I don't know, and I always have to be careful. That's why I said it appears that he didn't take a couple hot reads because they blitzed us a couple times, and that's when they got pressure right in his face. But there was a running back open in the flat. But what I don't know is if that was a hot read or not. Okay, I'm seeing the whole field at one time where he's going through a progression. So he may have been looking to the right, and I didn't see that he was looking to the right, and the running back went out to the left. So it may not have been a hot read, but it appears at times where it looks like you see him go through. It was a couple times Mechie was going to run open over the top, not going to, ran open over the top of the ball, and he could have hit him at about 8 to 10 yards in stride, but there was a deeper route going over the top of it, and that's what he waited to see if it broke open. Now, was that progression, or was that I want that deep ball? I don't know that, but I saw that more probably seeing the whole field, and you don't always know which guy is their first read.
Yeah, when it's a game, because we have a better chance of losing. You will definitely just start making those reads a little bit quicker.
Yes.
Still overall, the guys he played lights out again.
Yes.
Besides the minor tweaks there, but he still played lights out, and he's definitely masking our receivers not all having good hands. Mechie's hands are back.
Yeah.
You're in good hands with John Mechie.
Yeah.
But Billingsley and like, come on, dude. You want that next step? You want to go to the NFL? Alligator arms will not get you.
Not as a tight end, especially because you're going to have a lot of balls over the middle of the field. I thought Latu bounced back well.
Yes, he did. He looked like he caught everything that was thrown his way. And the defense, it's a tale of two. I mean, it's like Pete Golden all over again. You do just enough to keep us where we're not sure about you. So you take away those big plays, the defense gives up 3 points.
The defense dominated all but the big plays. And let me tell you about those big plays. They were going so fast. And I know there's been this big conversation over – I started it last week or week before about injuries and faking injuries, and it seemed like it picked up even more Saturday, especially with the way Tennessee was playing. I'll say two things. I'm leery of punishing players for getting injured. I just – because you just don't know. In some of Tennessee's injuries, they weren't faked because it didn't help Tennessee. One of them was after an extra point, and the fans were booing, so that doesn't help Tennessee. A couple times it was after Alabama scored touchdowns, and they had 2 guys down, and I'm like, that doesn't help them. Now sometimes it was, you could tell it was, hey, let's slow them down. And Alabama is a team, when they're in rhythm and going fast, they're better. When we tried to slow down ourselves, we were bad. So I don't know, but Tennessee, here's what I have a problem with. No one complains about the fact that when Tennessee has the ball, the officials get the ball set in 3 to 5 seconds. When Alabama has the ball, the officials get the ball set in 10 to 12 seconds. To me, that needs to be a standard, okay? Because the officials should not do their job differently for one offense versus the other. Because if Alabama all of a sudden decides to go fast, then it becomes obvious to the other team. You should be setting the ball with the same speed. If you're going to go fast, whatever the standard is, that's the way they should set the ball in play, right? Because that's why defenses do this. Is one time that they set the ball in 3 to 5 seconds. Next time they set it in 10 to 12. And so defenses have adjusted. I mean, I don't like it. I hate it, but I also don't hate the fact that the officials run around going so much faster for one team when they're on offense versus the other team. It should be standard, in my opinion, but I may be the only one that thinks that way. You got anything else for me, Robert? I got to get there. Let's go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And, I've heard a couple Tennessee fans complain about that fumble, that it was a fumble. They didn't call it a fumble. It's like, well, he did recover it, even if he fumbled. So why do you care one way or the other?
Yeah,
they were complaining about that.
It was a fumble. That's what people don't understand. He didn't. They didn't confirm whether it was a fumble. They weren't reviewing whether it was a fumble. They reviewed whether it was a touchdown to Alabama. When they came back on television, they said touchdown confirmed. It doesn't matter whether he fumbled. That's what I was trying to tell the people in the stands. The people in the stands got mad at me. I was like, guys, he fumbled, but it doesn't matter. He recovered it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Yes, he fumbled. He did not cross the goal line with that ball in his hand. He was fumbling it, but it doesn't matter. Alabama, he recovered it. So when they reviewed it, the play was called a touchdown. So when they reviewed it, they said, touchdown confirmed. What was they supposed to say? So.
It was like they almost cost them the game. Some of these Tennessee fans, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What it all comes down to, it's like the mistake. We're fine against the Tennessee. We're fine against everybody else. And I think we're going to just blow off and out in the eyeball. I know people are really nervous about that, but I'm really not nervous about that. It's all about Georgia.
Yeah.
Mistakes we keep making. will not beat Georgia, so we have to clean those things up.
Well, I can tell you this. The mistakes we made in that game were mistakes, Robert, that were created by Tennessee. The missed coverages, busted coverages, or communication. Tennessee was snapping the ball with 22 seconds on the play clock. Do you understand how hard that is?
Yeah.
And so you have to understand, all of the people who are dogging Pete Golding, I was more impressed with Pete Golding in this game probably than other games, because literally, think about this. Tennessee just ran a play. They just got tackled, and now they're getting ready to snap the ball at the sound of my voice. That's how long Pete Golding, he had anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. While the play was going on and being tackled, he was communicating the next play. It was the craziest thing. He was having to communicate, and then they had to communicate as they were lining up, and they caused a couple times. But what did it also do for Tennessee, Robert? How many penalties did they get because they were trying to go so fast? How many illegal procedures penalties?
Yeah, I heard the fans complain about that too. Well, we didn't get to see the replay. Well, part of the way you get to see the replay, your team was lining up so quick, so the announcer couldn't even show it to you.
Yes, that's right, because they were going so fast. And so anyway, thanks, Robert. Appreciate you, sir.
All right, man.
All right. Ellis from Tennessee, how's life up in your world, sir?
Well, awesome this morning, Martin. I was down there at the ball game.
All right.
Yes, like I was telling Joe when I called in and he took my call, I told him, I said, I believe it was the loudest game that I've been to down there at Bryant-Denny State.
It was the loudest game I've been to at Bryant-Denny at its peak moments. So,
yeah.
I mean, it was really, I wasn't sure. I don't go to a lot of games in stadiums, so I wasn't sure if that was just me not having been in a while, but it seemed extremely loud and fully engaged. So much so, Ellis, that Nick Saban went and thanked the student section after the game, after his interview.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen a post on that.
Yeah.
The student section was awesome, but the whole stadium was just rocking,
Yeah, and it was very timely. It was great fan football awareness, like on the third downs, because our third down defense, short yardage defense, was unbelievable. Tennessee probably had 4 or 5 times, Ellis, where they got 7-8 yards on first down and still ended up punting on third down, because we tackle them for a loss on second down, and then we stop them on third down. That probably happened 3 or 4 times during that ball game, maybe more. What else you got?
That was my good, and that we won was the crowd. I mean, it was just like it was just awesome, The bad was no blocking for the running game.
we had almost 200 yards. Oh, yeah, I'm just kidding.
Where I was sitting at, I had awesome seats, by the way, and I could just see it plain as day. There was no blocking.
Yeah, well, they were not gonna. It was interesting. They played a lot of. They had a lot of walk up on their linebackers, which they were taking away some of the gaps, running lanes, and we were trying to run it inside, and it's kind of tough to run it inside when they have their down linemen and their linebackers in the gap. So good. I mean, I say this, and I'll get Joe's thought on the other side, but maybe Tennessee was better than we thought. Ellis.
Oh, I agree.
Maybe that defense is actually pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, the people that were sitting around me, they thought the same thing. But the play when I think it was the first or second play when Bryce Young took off, running, it looked like he was just barely running though, but he was running. He was doing it.
Ellis, that's called That's called being an athlete. That's called being smooth. That's something that you and I probably don't have much in our repertoire. When we run, it's obvious that we're laboring to run, but when Bryce takes off, he's really smooth. He is a smooth athlete.
Yeah. The ugly, I think I heard you talking about it every time that Alabama would get momentum going down the field, they would stop the play with somebody hurt.
Oh, hey, watch this, Ellis. Ellis, watch this. What if I told you Alabama? What if I told you Alabama physically whooped Tennessee's butt and was putting it on those players? What if I told you Alabama was more physical offensively than Tennessee was defensively? What would you think about that?
It'd be different, but it's just it's what I thought. I wouldn't that they was doing it. It's just a thought every time they got.
It was a couple times that it was obvious. It was a couple times it was obvious, but it was a couple times they got balled up and rolled up, and I was not surprised that somebody was hurt. And of course, if you walk off with somebody's arm or with your arms around someone, everybody assumes you're hurt. But if you walk off on your own power, fans assume you're faking. And like I said, I think it's a combination. I think that there were several times that Tennessee that here's my concern. When you start booing players at the moment you see a player on the field, we're getting into a bad place, Ellis. We're getting into a bad place. Kid goes down. Now, like these plays, now I saw some where guys would be walking off the field, not in the Alabama game. I saw Saturday couple times, guys walking off the field. It's obvious that the coach told them to go back down because they were up walking and then they just kind of and they fell slow, but a lot of these Tennessees, it looked like it was just part of the play and at the end of a play, and maybe they were told the next play, if hey, we don't stop them here, go down. But I think Tennessee had a couple of fakes in there, but I also think Alabama physically hurt Tennessee, and it was more physical than what you thought, because I've been in those types of games, and when we used to play Penn State, Ellis, that was one of those games where you felt like you had been beat to death physically during the game. So it happens, but anyway, thanks, Ellis. Appreciate you, sir.
Hey, thank you for talking about that.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks, man. Coming back on the other side, we'll continue the good, bad, and ugly, as well as review from the weekend. Any thoughts, comments, agree, disagree? Hey, you're welcome to do it all right here on the Martin Houston Show, the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team, right here on Tide 100.9.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet on this Monday morning. No wrecks, no delays. Just drive carefully today. And if you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they really need your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium pack. Drop a, you can be one of the great wash. And I keep our cars looking good inside and out
by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. First to sign up, you'll get $500 free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Nick Saban calls it. Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. It's what you learn. That makes it. What am I talking about? Leadership. Personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of development and personal development? If Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves fan. They're going to the World Series. Now, Joe, are you a baseball guy at all? Anytime, anywhere?
Extremely mild.
I usually get into at least the World Series. Every once in a while, I get into the league championships. So I'll have to figure out, since it's the Braves, I'll have to figure out if I'm going to watch any, get into it any at all. But kudos to the Atlanta Braves, long shot, usually a consistently good team, but never able to get over the hump. 1999, I think, last time. It's been a while. I don't remember when but it's been a while since they made it. So congratulations to them on their run. Also, congratulations to Mac Jones going over that 300-yard mark for the first time in his NFL career. Derrick Henry, is he on his way to an MVP, Joe, if his team keeps winning?
He's certainly right in the conversation. He's been right there at the 1, 2, 3 mark the last 2 years. So it just depends on how the votes go. It's a quarterback award, so it's just a daggum popularity contest.
Yeah, and he threw a touchdown. I don't know if you saw it. He did the Tim Tebow touchdown pass yesterday. So not only running touchdowns, but throwing them. They were geared up to stop him on that short yardage run. He just elevated, threw it over the top for a touchdown. So kudos to him as well. Pretty neat stat they showed, Joe, at the ball game Saturday night. I thought was interesting. What was it? 11 or 12 Alabama players scored 20-something touchdowns. Not this weekend, but the weekend before. In terms of what happened in the NFL, and 4 touchdowns scored by former Alabama players for the Raiders, who happen to, despite their difficulties, are in first place in their division. So kudos to the Alabama guys at the next level. Just another great recruiting tool for Nick Saban. Joe, you and I, we hadn't talked a lot about the injuries and stuff, but as you watched that game, being there, did you feel like it was as bad as it was portrayed from the Tennessee standpoint?
Yeah, Martin, that's an interesting point in the game. And in the press box, a handful of people were, they're faking. But I don't know, Martin. I have a hard time saying, this person's faking an injury and that person's faking an injury just to slow down the game. While I know people, it gets.
They do it. Some do it. But
Yeah, it's very difficult to say though they're faking injuries to me because having played just a little bit, you never want to leave a game if I'm getting playing time, I'm not really wanting to uh, leave the field, get Wally pipped or just get off the field because I want to make an impact on the game. I don't know. I felt like it was a little. Maybe classless to insinuate that they were faking injuries. Maybe they were, and if they are, I'd say that's classless as well.
yeah,
But I think maybe with injuries, it's one of those things where it's a delicate topic. It's a delicate issue.
yes, and that's my point. That's my biggest concern, Joe, is what you just said. I mean, when you start saying now, some of these guys, like I said, when you see a guy walking off the field and looking to the sideline, and you see the coaching staff, waving their hands, telling them to go down, and they're pointing at themselves, and then they go down. That's obvious. But like I said, it was probably, I know, at least 3 times when the Tennessee players were hurt, and it didn't help Tennessee. It was like after a play, after a transition, and so it wouldn't have done any good. And so that's why I said some of it was they may have did it, I think, a couple times where they may have faked it. But I'm just concerned. And I asked the person behind me, I said, okay, they're saying, man, they should make them come out for 5 plays. I said, okay. Do they make the offensive players that get hurt go out for 5 plays as well? Or just defensive players? Because if you start legislating that a player is injured, you cannot say, okay, if you're an offensive player, you're injured, you go out for this many. If you're a defensive player, you go out for this many. Correct, Joe? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, correct.
And so I asked him, I said, okay, let's say Bryce Young, we're driving. Bryce Young gets hit. And they were like, well, they would be out for more than 1 play if they were really hurt. And I'm like, okay. I said, so Bryce Young gets hurt. It's a game-winning drive. He gets hurt. He gets legit stinger, whatever, but he's okay after 1 play. Or you're saying you're okay with someone making a determination before it ever happens that he now has to sit out 4 more plays. And it was crickets. It was total crickets. I said, you can't say, okay, if a defensive player goes down, he has to sit out 5 plays. But if an offensive player gets hurt, then he only has to sit out 1 play. They said the defensive players are doing it to slow down the game. I said, so what if the offense is doing the same thing? People don't understand. Offenses do the same thing when they're out of timeouts, Joe. If you're saying guys are injured, see how often the offensive players get injured when there's no timeouts and it's only 50 seconds on the clock. But they say, well, they run off. What is running off 10 seconds, Joe, if I get a minute to get 3 plays sent into the huddle?
Yeah, I mean, half does it one way, you'll get up in seconds.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. It's like guys will do that, with a minute to go. They'll give up that 10 seconds if they can get a personnel change in or a substitution change in or anything like that. And when they send that player in, with 2 or 3 plays so they can go fast the next 3 plays. Because they get that time back. Because they can send in multiple plays. Anyway, my biggest concern, though, Joe, is just becoming the moral police almost of saying this guy's faking or this guy's faking. I don't know what they do about it. To me, like I said, if they had a standard of the play clock, and then maybe you go fast in the 2 minute. You know what I mean? But to get Tennessee's ball set, did you notice how fast they got the ball set for Tennessee?
Yeah, the first drive of the game, like the very first drive of the game, their first 3 plays took like 15 seconds.
And you're not exaggerating. And I'm like, that's crazy. And so to me, it's just difficult. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the break here. Coming back, I'll give you a couple good, bad, and uglies. You may agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. We all get to talk about it and have our different opinions. But good, bad, and ugly coming up. What you gonna do this week during bye week? All that conversation can be held right here on the Martin Houston Show. And I invite you to be a part of it at 205-342-9904. We'll get you in the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Towns of Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet on this Monday morning. No wrecks, no delays. Just drive carefully today. And if you do see conditions, give us a call. 205-886-8886. Towns of Nissan is taking care of business with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they really need your trade. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread. Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curve series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. NMLS ID 128231. Equal housing lender. Non-licensed in all states, including New York. Offer based on loans over $250,000. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions.
What's better than a mortgage interest rate and APR in the twos? How about a cash out refi with an interest rate and APR in the twos? At Cash Call Mortgage, our customers are getting the cash they need from their home's equity and getting a low interest rate and APR in the twos. Imagine refinancing your mortgage to a rate and APR in the twos and taking cash out for the things in life you need. At Cash Call Mortgage, we'll even pay the title, escrow, and appraisal fees. Home values have soared, and interest rates are at all-time lows. But the clock is ticking on how long these rates and APRs will stay this low. Imagine a mortgage rate in the twos and some extra cash in your pocket. For a free quote to see if you qualify, go to cashcallmortgage.com or call us today. Call 800-745-1952. That's 800-745-1952. 800-745-1952.
Sip and save at Circle K with our great new drink subscription. Join Sip and Save today and enjoy 1 drink a day every day for just $5.99 a month. Enjoy your favorite Circle K ice cold fountain drink, Froster, or freshly ground coffee every day. That's 30 drinks a month for only $5.99. So sip and save at Circle K. Sign up in store or at CircleK.com. Circle K. Take it easy.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Swap. Wondering how right now.
All right. Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Alabama Tide 100.9, Alabama's home for great sports broadcasting. You cannot beat it. Tide 100.9. Curtis Moore saying good, bad, and ugly. Bryce Young getting it back together after getting frustrated leading the team. Bad. Alabama DBs out of position, allowing explosive plays. Ugly. Greg McElroy. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Didn't hear this, but seeing it. Greg McElroy hating on Alabama, saying the referee shouldn't have called the late hit out of bounds on my little cousin, B-Rob. Greg McElroy. That is, without a doubt, that was a late hit. Oh, my God. He tackled him out of bounds. Anyway, let's get to George from Macon. You're with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
I'm good, Martin. How are you doing?
Yes, sir. Doing well.
Yeah. Speaking, first want to comment on the injuries or the fake injury, real injuries, or whatever. Remember when, 2 or 3 years ago, when it came up with this fast pitching tempo, and Nick Saban said, let's be concerned about the injuries, and all the pundits and all were saying he's saying that just because, he can't, defend it and that sort of thing.
Right.
And Saban says something. It's not really to help him or Alabama. It's the truth of what, the state of the game. And I think the only way you're going to stop those, because you're right, Martin, you can't be the moral police or the injury police to see what's real and what's not real. I think they need to go ahead and put a clock on it and stop, the high, fast pitch tempo offenses. And that's the only reason you're going to stop it. I mean, Tennessee's thin, and I don't think it's always just to stop our rhythm, but I think it's because they're tired.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. A lot of people think, they're just trying to stop our rhythm. They're wore out.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're
trying to help themselves, which is what they cause with themselves with the high pitch.
Yeah, sometimes that guy is just gas, right? And what happens when you get tired? You get hurt, you get injured, or you try to get out of the game. And if there's not enough time to substitute, maybe it is just about substitute. Oh, it is all about substitution, which to me, once again, is if one time you get the ball set in 3 to 5 seconds, or the next time you get it set in 8 to 10, then you hurt me as a defensive team. Right? If I'm watching the game and you're setting the ball one time, you're setting it 3 to 5 seconds. The next time you set it in 8 to 10. So I go, okay, they're setting the ball in 8 to 10 seconds. I'm going to substitute right here. And then you hurry up because the other team tells you they're going fast. Did you come tell me, hey, the next 5 plays, I'm going to set the ball ready for play in 3 to 5 seconds. It should not be that way. I should know. I don't know. I just get frustrated. I don't think the refs should do their job any different based on the offense that's going, unless it's like inside of 2 minutes and they all agree that that's what they're going to do.
Well, another thing, Martin, is that, fast pitch, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting the defense to think and misalign and that sort of thing, which it does do, but also it hurts the referees. They miss calls.
They're out of position.
They're out of position.
Yep.
And, it makes the game a little bit more sloppy, and it's just very difficult.
Hey, George, let me ask you this. What would happen if all of a sudden the pitcher could have the ball in his hands, and as soon as the batter stepped into the batter's box, he could throw the pitch? Right? Is that not what they're doing on offense now?
That's exactly what.
That's exactly. All right. All right, man. Have a good one. Thanks, George. Appreciate you, sir. Roll Tide. All right, hey, this is the Martin Houston Show. It's been a quick one, a good one. Thank you all for being a part of it. I'm Martin Houston. That's Joe Gaither. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, chatters, viewers, and participants on the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. Roll Tide, and have a blessed day. Catch you on tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports.
You too.
And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan traffic, steady traffic. McFarland eastbound coming into Northport, southbound on Lurleen into downtown. Slow traffic 2059 eastbound between McFarland and 359. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business with an amazing selection, low finance rates, and they really need your